Spool up and strap in. You're watching SimBlitz. Today's flight is unlike anything I've done before. We're flying one of the most beloved aircrafts in aviation history. The Airbus A380. One of my personal favourite aircrafts of all time. Our test flight today will take us on an epic journey from Australia's cultural capital, Melbourne, all the way to the world-class airport, Changi, in Singapore. Over 3,700 kilometres across the heart of Australian sky. But we're testing out the newly updated FlyByWire A380 with the new version of 0.13. So join me as we take this incredible journey across the skies. So now that we're in the flight deck, let's actually talk about what's changed in the latest update for the A380. Because 0.13 brings some huge improvements. First off, let's talk about the FCU, because it's had a complete overhaul. We've now got realistic barrow knob behaviour, a working metric altitude button, and an LS mode that automatically arms on approach. Moving on over to the EFB, it's been cleaned up too. Cabin lighting controls are now built in, and some of the door logic has been fixed. Visually, there's been noticeable upgrades as well. We've got an improved wing flex, more ambient lighting control in the cockpit, and sharper 4K textures across the board. Overall, this is a massive step forward. Alright, I'm going to get started here. I'm going to request our clearance to Singapore, and we'll get started with programming the FMS for our flight today. Melbourne clearance, good evening. Qantas 35 Super requesting IFR clearance to Singapore.
Qantas 35 Super, good evening. You are cleared to Singapore Changi as filed. Expect runway 34 the Kepa 2 departure, initial climb 6,000 feet. Expect flight level 190 roughly 10 minutes after departure. Contact the ground when ready.
Alrighty, got a pretty easy clearance, so we're expecting runway 34 for departure with the Kepa 2, climb 6,000, and looks like we'll get flight level 190 about 10 minutes after departure. So real simple and easy. I'm going to punch this into the FMS and we'll get on our way.
Qantas 35 Super, push and start approved. Advise ramp to face west on Tango.
Cockpit to ground, we're ready for pushback, face west onto Tango. Pushback is complete, we're ready to roll. Flaps are set, we've got green across the board. We're not too heavy today, so we should fly out of Melbourne like a rocket ship. But we'll start taxiing here to runway 34 for our departure. And just like that, with some movie magic, we're at our cruise. We've still got some ways to go before we start our descent, roughly 5 hours, but I just got to say, I didn't realise how much I miss this aircraft. It is just unbelievable to fly. It's one of the only aircrafts in Flight Simulator that really conveys the weight and how big the aircraft is, not just on the ground, in the sky. But it's so well done and polished. Every feature and aspect of this aircraft just works flawlessly. There's a few little minor areas that still need to be finished up, like the cabin, but other than that, it is just hands down the best add-on you can get in Flight Simulator, and it's absolutely free. And we've hit our top of descent. I've got now arrival into Singapore. I've got it all punched into the FMS. We're going to be landing on 02 left. We'll take the ILS, and we've got the Repo 2 Alpha arrival, which is a real simple and easy arrival into Singapore, which I'm glad, because we got a ton of traffic on the ground, and this is one of the busiest airports in the world, but it's also one of the most efficient hubs. So speaking of efficiency, another thing with the heavy lineup of the Airbuses is the amazing feature called Brake to Vacate. So basically what you can do is zoom in on the OSANS display, on your navigation display in map mode. You select the runway, it'll highlight, and then it'll give you your dry stopping distance and wet stopping distance. You can choose any of the exit taxi points on the runway after each of those distances, and when you land, it'll automatically apply the perfect amount of auto brake to get off at that exit at the appropriate speed. So you can see I've selected Whiskey 4, and it's not currently wet. However, we're pretty light, so stopping distances are really close together, so I'm just going to go just after the wet distance, which is Whiskey 4. Makes it nice and easy. Okay, so here we are on final. Now you can see I'm getting pushed around by the winds. I've been vectored into 02 left, intercepted as a localizer and the glide slope bed. Just because of all the winds and all the turbulence, I've been going under and above, and it's just really unstable. But I was pretty committed to see if I could get it down, so I'm flying down to minimums to see how we go. You can really see how hard I'm fighting with the controls down to minimum here. And as I started creeping up on the touchdown lines on the runway, I quickly overshot it, so time to hit toga and go around. We'll attempt for another go. So we're just executing a very standard textbook go around here, just maintaining runway centerline and climbing 2,500. ATC will vector us back around to shoot the approach, and hopefully this time the winds will be a bit more favourable and we'll get it down. And the winds have calmed down now, so we're locked onto the localizer and glide slope. Everything's looking perfect, we're configured for landing, we just got to get it down now. So finally, after 7.5 hours, I'm on the final, and I'm ready to get down. I'm beyond excited at this point to finally touch down and see this airport. As we taxi in here at Singapore, I've got to say, while the flight was a fantastic flight, I'm honestly a bit disappointed with this airport by TaiModels. I really hoped that it would match up to the experience of this aircraft, but there's just a few things that stand out and ruin the experience, especially when we've been spoiled with such better airports. Just simple things like the aerial imaging, taxi signage is in oddly placed areas, the golf course is just flat plain textures. It just feels very rushed. They did great parts on the interior and things like the waterfall, but the rest of the airport just feels neglected and rushed. But that's just my personal opinion. Either way, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, and if you guys enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. Be sure to let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next. And I can't thank you guys enough for the support. I really appreciate it. Other than that, thanks for watching.